A quiet but symbolic diplomatic shift is unfolding in West Africa. Mali and Burkina Faso have announced new visa restrictions on citizens of the United States, directly responding to Washington's latest travel bans targeting their own nationals. What may appear like a routine policy move is, in reality, another sign of a deeper geopolitical break between the Sahel and the West. This is no longer just about visas. It's about power, sovereignty, and who gets to set the rules. Hit like and subscribe right now. What you're about to hear isn't covered by mainstream media. A response, not a surprise. In recent weeks, US President Donald Trump expanded America's travel restrictions to include several new countries, many of them African and Arab nations. Among them were Mali and Burkina Faso, two states already at odds with Western governments. Washington justified the move using familiar language: national security, counterterrorism concerns, and migration control. But in Bamako and Ouagadougou, the reaction was swift and deliberate. Both governments announced that US citizens would now face the same entry conditions imposed on their own people when traveling to the United States. The message was clear: reciprocity. Not retaliation, not escalation, but equality. The principle of reciprocity. Mali's foreign ministry stated that American travelers would now be subject to identical visa requirements, effective immediately. Burkina Faso echoed the same position, emphasizing sovereign equality and mutual respect in international relations. This framing matters. Rather than portraying themselves as victims of discrimination, both countries positioned their decision as a legal and diplomatic principle. If rules apply one way, they apply both ways. It reflects a growing confidence among Sahelian governments and a refusal to accept unilateral decisions without response. Why the US imposed the ban? From Washington's perspective, the expanded travel restrictions were framed as a security necessity. US officials cited ongoing armed conflict, militant activity, visa overstays, and challenges in deportation cooperation. Mali and Burkina Faso, both facing persistent insurgencies, were portrayed as high-risk environments. But critics argue these justifications overlook the political context. Both countries are now led by military governments that have distanced themselves from Western influence, expelled foreign troops, and rejected regional pressure from institutions like ECOWAS. Security concerns may be part of the equation, but geopolitics is impossible to ignore. The Sahel's strategic realignment. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have undergone a dramatic transformation in recent years. After a series of military takeovers, all three countries cut defense ties with France and scaled back cooperation with the United States. In their place, they turned toward new partners, most notably Russia. Mali has welcomed Russian personnel, including private military forces, while all three nations formed a new bloc, the Alliance of Sahel States, or AES. This alliance is not symbolic. It includes joint military planning, shared security strategies, and now coordinated diplomatic positions. The visa bans fit neatly into this broader realignment. Symbolism over scale. In practical terms, the number of Americans traveling to Mali or Burkina Faso is relatively small. The economic impact will be limited. But geopolitically, the message is powerful. For decades, Western states imposed restrictions with little fear of response. Now, African governments are signaling that unilateral actions will be mirrored, not ignored. It's a shift from dependency to assertion. Despite this assertive posture, the situation on the ground remains fragile. Armed attacks continue across the Sahel. Groups linked to Al-Qaeda and ISIL remain active. Separatist movements and local militias challenge state control. Even with new alliances and regional cooperation, security improvements have been slow. The visa dispute highlights diplomatic independence, but it does not solve internal instability. What this means for global politics. This moment reflects a broader global trend. The world is moving toward fragmentation, where countries prioritize sovereignty over alignment and reciprocity over hierarchy. Mali and Burkina Faso are not isolating themselves. They are choosing when and on what terms to engage. For the United States and its allies, this presents a challenge. Influence can no longer be assumed. It must be negotiated. The reciprocal visa bans are not about travel paperwork. They are about dignity, autonomy, and a changing balance of power. As the Sahel continues to redefine its place in the world, one thing is becoming clear. Africa is no longer reacting quietly. It is responding on its own terms. And that shift is reshaping global diplomacy, one decision at a time.